Mr. Stadelman.
Hi, I'm Ryan Stadelman. I live at 17055 Northwest Quarry Road. I'm a third-generation farmer. My grandfather started farming in the 30s. He cleared patches of brush and turned his land into productive farm acreage, and as he produced more, he bought more land to farm. What my granddad started now supports 2 families. We have 21 different landlords for the 800 acres we farm north of Highway 26. We have fields that range in size from 2.5 acres to 60 acres. All of them are profitable, and most of it is dry land. We are fortunate in the Willamette Valley to get ample rainfall and have a variety of crops to raise. We use crops in rotation to combat disease, weed control, and build up nutrients in the ground for future crops. The soils in the area are some of the best in the valley. We can raise various types of grasses, grains, clovers, and row crops. We produce better yields per acre and have the best quality grass seed and clover that can be produced throughout the world. The last spring, many farmers in the area got a bonus on our wheat we sold because of the protein content. In the Pacific Rim countries, they are very specific on the type of protein because of the bread and pastries that they make. With urban reserves, farmers will have to fight more road traffic, more noise complaints, and there will be no buffer zone between houses and ag land. With those as issues, we as farmers are probably not going to plant long-term crops, which are better for the environment and more profitable because of less tillage and labor costs. Who would want to enter a 5-year grass seed contract when the land it is planted on could be developed if it was classified as urban reserve? I support the Metro's COO's recommendation that the foundation agricultural land north of Highway 26 be protected from urban reserves. This land is best suited for rural reserves. Thank you.
Thank you.
Question.
Councilor Liberty.
Mr. Stadelman, I'm interested in your comments about the sort of planning horizon, whether or not a landowner would invest in land if it was designated urban reserves. So the question probably on the minds of a number of us is, given that the time horizon for urban reserves is at least officially quite a ways in the future, do you think that would have an effect near term on decisions to invest in farming?
It could. The long,
Hold on, Mike. Thank you.
Sorry. You start with the rotations of the crops and the inputs you put into it. It does affect what's happening 5 years down the road with the land as far as fertilizers and stuff. If you're out 10, 15 years, probably not quite as much, but as a farmer, you try to go long term because our inputs are so expensive.
What about things like, I don't know if a lot of tiling is used, that sort of thing, or maintenance for, is that something that would also be affected? And
definitely, tiling is a long-term deal. I mean, it affects the land for forever, and it's another added expense. So, if you're going to be a little hesitant to put any more money into something, even when the landowner shares a cost with you, if it could be, null down the road.
all right, thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Harrington.
I think what we're trying to get an appreciation for, sir, is that there are investments that are made on agricultural properties that we're not necessarily familiar with on a day-to-day basis, whether it be tiling or barns or irrigation equipment and other equipment. And so just trying to get some further information about what kind of time frame rate of return you have to plan for to get the payoff for those investments. So.
Well, if I knew that I was going to lose certain farms, I mean, we have farms that are, 100 acres, different chunks. If I have to buy a harvest machine and combine, it's a $300,000 machine. If I think I can make, if I'm going to lose that land, why would I want to buy a bigger machine that I might need now, but in 5 years might not need when you have depreciation and all that?
Does 5 years tend to be the time frame for such payout, or do you have other equipment and whatnot that might be a 10-year payout or a 20-year payout?
20 years is probably a long time. 10 years would definitely be, in reason.
Okay, thanks very much.
When you're looking at a house payment rolling down the road that depreciates every year versus accumulates profit.
Can I just, since one of our crops is Christmas trees, it takes about 10 years for a noble fir, which is the highest priced tree, to go to market. And then as soon as you harvest that, you have to replant. So you're talking about a 20-year time frame on that.
And I can imagine if you have to replace a barn, that's probably a couple decades too. Okay, thank you very much.
Interest.
Counselor Liberty?
Mr. Stadelman, one other issue, which is that you alluded to, is a lot of farming operations here and across Oregon are made up of different ownerships with one operator. Do you have any sense or experience from the past about what happens to the non-operating landowners when they see a change in potential use? What are your lease periods? Are they year to year, or is that something that would have an independent of your decisions about whether to maintain or invest in farm operations?
Oh, definitely. We have year to year. A lot of them, a lot of our landlords have been for 25, 30 years. I guess the landlord, like the landlords, is not that we're renting from. That's your question.
I'm just
I-
whether or not they would change whether they decide that they want you to make an investment or for them to share an investment if there's a prospect of some change, even if it's 10 or 15 or 20 years out.
I guess it depend on what it was going to cost them. Each landowner is
Right.
have a different. I can't speak for them, I guess.
All right, thank you.